Welcome back to the channel, you guys. My name's Andy, and today we're going to be talking about the Sony a7R4 and my Canon R5. Now, this has been a debate for the longest time, and I'm definitely not going to go into the specs because there are a lot of videos out there about these specs. Plus, this isn't really the newest camera out there. There's still the A1 that people are comparing it to. I'm just going to compare it and talk about my personal experience. If you guys are looking for deep specs, you might go watch a different video. This video, we're going to talk about personal experience. If you guys have been following this channel, you know that I've been shooting with the Canon R5. The one that's recording me right now is the Canon R5. The reason why I love the Canon R5 so much is because it can do video and photos. There's a lot of cameras out there that are good with one of them, but not both. So for example, like the Sony a7S III can do videos, which is amazing at video. Arguably the best video camera out there right now, but it sucks at shooting photos. It is only 12 megapixels. So we're not even getting started with that. This camera right here is the Sony a7R4, a 61 megapixel camera. This is why I'm wanting to compare it to my 45 megapixel R5. So I've been using this camera for the last few days to do shoots. Coming from the Canon, this autofocus is so nice. For some reason, like every time you focus, you see it just keeps wanting to search for the eye, which is super dope. And then when you see it search for the eye, you know that it's in focus. All you have to do is just press the shutter button and it hits it every single time. At 61 megapixel, let's say you shot this whole picture right here and you're like, there's too many things in the background. There's just too many things going on. So I just want this. You can crop into this and nobody would ever even know that this was how wide the original shot was. And that's because of 61 megapixel, it's not gonna be blurred out just because you cropped into like this much. If you cropped in just for the eye, you might see pixelation, but that's like, look at this frame, right? That's how much you're talking about. I have this, the Canon 50mm, and this is the Sony 50mm. This Sony is so much nicer to use for one reason, is that it is light. This whole camera setup weighs just almost as much as this lens setup. I'm holding them right now, and this, like I said, without the body, it's almost the same weight. When you're traveling, the last thing you want is to carry a heavy camera. You're not only gonna carry one camera, you also have two lenses, probably of your choice, a GoPro, and if you wanna bring a tripod with you, you're talking about a lot of gears. And when that all is put onto your backpack, it adds up. This one right here is just the lens. Usually I have this and another two lenses, the wide one for video and a zoom one for super ultra zoom. And then my Canon R5. Those are the three lenses I bring with the body. And then of course the tripod. We're talking about a lot of weight, and this is not even like the smallest one. If you guys have seen my last video, you know that I talk about this lens. This is the 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8. These two lenses look exactly identical, which is cool because usually they make this lens a lot bigger. It's probably like this size compared together, right? This lens right here is definitely a bigger lens. You can totally just see it. You can totally see that this is a way bigger lens. Okay, we're talking about this camera setup right here versus these two lenses, and you know. So weight is a big factor when you're talking about cameras. That's the biggest thing I like about this Sony. The one thing I hate about the Sony is that the flip out screen doesn't flip out. And I hear the argument that some photographers don't want a screen to go out because maybe someone might hit it and break it. I get it. But a lot of time, when you're shooting vertical shots, you want to see what's above for vertical and you want to see what's very below. You don't want to just lay down on the ground and shoot picture vertically. I don't know. I mean, I don't always just shoot horizontally. A lot of times I shoot vertical. And because the screen is just like a regular screen because it doesn't flip out, I have to kind of like get low or just kind of guess, which sucks. The Canon R5 has a flip out screen. A lot of Canon cameras have a flip out screen. And that's super dope because two great things about it. One, the vertical one that we just talked about. Two, I can see myself right now. It's right there. I can see myself while I'm talking to you. And I know that there's a box right around my eye, which is great. So I know that I'm in focus. If I were just shooting myself with this, I have no idea. I'm just gonna take a wild guess. Hey, I think I'm in a frame. I think I am. I think I'm in focus, which sucks because if I'm recording this entire video only to realize I'm not in focus, I've done that and it's not nice. It is definitely not good. For something like this, it is only good for photos. Yes, it does shoot 4K, and yes, you can use an external monitor, but that's just adding on to this camera. And you know, you don't always want to bring an external monitor out. So if I want something like the R5 for a Sony version, I would have to get the Sony a7S III and the Sony a7R4 or R3, right? So now I get to use the Sony a7S III as my video camera and the R4 as my photography camera. Two cameras just to equal to R5. I don't know what the argument about. And there's a A1, right? The Sony A1 is really nice. It's basically everything the R5 is and better, right? 50 megapixel, only 45 in this one. I get it. It shoots 8K, a lot better. No overheating, the biggest thing. But it doesn't have a flip out screen. So if you want to shoot yourself, guess what? You better have someone else behind the camera, and it can't be you because you can't see yourself. And if you want to travel with an A1, you got to bring an extra monitor. And if you don't want to travel with A1, then you got to bring the a7S III, which is an extra camera body. Just for what the R5 has, Sony doesn't have one that is just the same. Big megapixel, great video, flip out screen, they just don't have one. And that sucks because I love the R5 and I really love the compact size of the Sony, but they just don't have both of them combined. If you're gonna compare an A1 to this camera, yeah, the A1's gonna be better, right? Like I said, but it doesn't have a flip out screen. So a lot of video creators like myself, who's a solo creator, I don't have anybody else shooting me, I need that flip out screen. And also, if I want to compare to the a7S III, it's not good for photos. To compare this camera, you need two Sony camera just to equal the R5. Anyways, you guys, that's my little beef with Sony cameras right now because they are such an amazing camera. Oh, and also the color on the Sony just doesn't equal to Canon colors for some reason. You can color grade it and you can't even tell the difference. Anyways, you guys, that's my rant about the Sony cameras because I wish they can have a flip out screen with big megapixels and a great video, and I would be sold. Definitely, I'll jump over to Sony's right now. That's it. But they don't. I love the size. I love how compact it is. And I just love carrying this around and not something bigger. So, yeah, I don't know where else I was going with that. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like Canon cameras? Do you guys not mind the size? Or are you big on Sony and you don't need the flip out screen because, I don't know, you have someone shooting you, or you're just taking wild guesses, or you have a monitor? There's a lot of options you can do. If I were to switch to Sony, and if you guys ever see me switch to Sony in the future, that means I have two Sony bodies. One for the studio, like this, with a flip out screen, so most likely an FX3 or Sony Alpha S3. If I'm using those for videos, then I need a photography camera because I'm a huge photographer. I'm more of a photographer than I am a videographer. So I need the megapixels like the R4 or the A1. I love the A1 because of the new menu system. The reason why I don't like this is because the old menu system is still there. And when I'm using old menu system, I just don't want to get used to it because they're going to change it. I feel like all new Sony cameras are going to have the new menu system. So it makes this like, why am I using this? The menu system is not going to be there. And if I get used to this and then I get a new one, it's going to suck because I'm going to forget everything. Man, you guys are just hearing a rant today. So maybe I should title this the Sony versus Canon rant. That's a good title, right? Did you guys click on that? Alright guys, if you guys feel the same way I do, make sure you hit that like button. If you don't, leave it in the comment below. Let me hear your 2 cents. And then, hit the like button. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe. My name is Andy. In here we talk about photography, videography, camera gears, camera techs, and some rant, I guess. So make sure you subscribe. Alright you guys, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.